Hey, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Your host with the most, misunderstood, lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, creator, YouTuber, and of course, Queens, New York native who is also a New York Giants fan and New York Mets fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you're now rocking with me by listening, tuning in, streaming, and watching the 420th episode of Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast. Now, I do understand that today's Thursday, 9/11, which is Patriot Day, and let me fill you in on what this is about, though. Actually, so Patriot Day, aka 9/11, is basically about remembering the 3,000 people who risked their lives during the 9/11 attacks that happened. I remember I was in Florida and I seen videos of some planes crashing into the Twin Towers. And for the most part, it was very scary for me to see, actually. And 24 years is a long time, and I kind of understand why, there were a lot of names out there of those 3,000 people. And I'm not going to be able to actually remember all these names of those 3,000 people, but they did um, a sacrifice. Of course, the people who are in the military, the army, um, the firefighters, the cops, almost everybody. And it's you know, it's just I wanted to take a moment right here to actually, you know, recognize and not forget the 3,000 people who actually risked their lives. Like, you got people in New Jersey, you got people in Pennsylvania, you got people in New York and other states that's actually doing a reflection on those people to not forget. And as I was watching TV just now, during the news, with there are two guys that are actually you know doing like a they were doing like a like an event, like, giving out food and stuff, which was pretty impressive. And and the fact that they're using the history of what happened on 9/11 to actually implement that into schools, for to have professors and teachers and stuff to actually teach the students about what happened, what went down, what went wrong, and all other stuff. And of course, I know everybody probably remembers the biopics of United 93 and the World Trade Center. And of course, the reason why I didn't see those movies was because it was too sad to watch. It was too sad to watch, though. You know what I mean? It was just too sad to watch. And I know a lot of people are using their time to actually volunteer, and as far as like giving out food, talking to people, and I like to say to those who are doing good deeds as far as volunteer work, I want to I want to salute you. I want to salute you for doing a good deed. I want to salute you for doing a good deed, and continue with you know reaching out to communities. So I want to make some noise for all the people out there that's volunteering, and 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 all that good stuff. So yeah. So So yeah, there you go, right there. So I'd like to, yeah, I want to do like a moment of silence for those 3,000 people before I make some noise for those who are doing volunteer work and stuff. So let's do a moment of silence to remember those who risked their lives. All right. All right. Let's make some noise and congratulate those who are doing volunteer work, helping out communities, especially going through grief of losing a loved one and all that stuff. So, salute. I want to salute to those that's actually doing it, especially those two guys that I see on TV on Fox 5 not too long ago, talking to Bianca and Natasha. Um, Salute to those guys that's doing this. So I want to make some noise and salute to those guys and everybody else that's doing their thing. All right, let's get to some transit news right here in the New York Mass Transit Files. Before I get into some transit topics, I'd like to remind y'all if you missed any episodes whatsoever, please feel free to actually subscribe to the channel G Money Stacks 555 for more live video podcast episodes. And of course, leave a like and a comment. Tell me how you feel and what you think about the topics in each episode, including this one. And also, another reminder is to leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you have Apple Podcasts on your iPhones, your Android phones, iPads, Android tablets, laptops includes Apple Mac and Dell laptop models. All right. Um, the purpose of leaving a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts is to actually, you know, it keep me encouraged, gives me confidence to build up the show and to actually be able to create more content, create more topics to talk about especially those that's like relatable and everything else in between. All right. So there you go, right there. There you go, right there. Um, and you know what they say: the show must go on. So let's get into a little transit topic right here. Give me 1 second here to find the topic that I'm going to talk about here. All right. All right. Let's get down to the nitty gritty of the transit topics. All right. Starting with yeah, yeah. Hold on 1 second here. Okay, let's get to this actually. All right, so here's what's happening according to AMNY. It's only the first air school in the Big Apple, but City Comptroller Brad Lander is already doling out failing grades for lackluster bus service in NYC. More than half of NYC's 332 bus lines received a D or worse on a new report card issued on Thursday from the NYC Comptroller's office. Every MTA city bus line was evaluated for on-time performance, speed, and delays as part of the September 4th report, dubbed um, "Life in the Slow Lane," a report card for buses. Oh boy. Oh boy. That shit can't be good. That shit cannot be fucking good though. Let's see. So the investigation, which ran from June 17th, 2024 to June 12th, 2025, found that 186 bus lines received an unsatisfactory D or an F grade. According to Lander, city and state officials can target interventions to improve bus performance using a letter grade system. Oof, that does not sound fucking good at all. That is not fucking good. That is not good. And you gotta feel for commuters who take buses to reach subway stations and stuff, and they can't get to work on time. That's fucking insane, man. Yeah, sorry about that, folks. Give me 1 second. Okay. The report revealed consistent patterns of underperformance across the bus system. Most notably, a majority of buses perform below average standards. 56% of bus lines are poor performing, and many experience bunching, meaning that buses arrive too often and back to back, resulting in long waits for commuters at bus stops. Um, and I'm sorry about that sound effect there. That's just a notification involving the weather. So anyway, so let's continue. Let's continue. Let me see. Yeah, so Brooklyn buses like bananas, like bananas coming in bunches. Oh man, oh man, that's funny. Yeah, poor performance, poor, poor performing bus lines also receive subpar grades because they consistently fail to arrive at scheduled stops on time. End quote. This means that 15% of buses in Brooklyn fail to maintain even spacing along their routes, creating unreliable service and wait times regularly in excess of 10 minutes for riders on lines where average wait times should be no more than 5 minutes, the report stated. Express buses, which have been the subject of scrutiny on Staten Island this year due to reports of unreliable service, had a higher average speed but a much lower on time rate than the overall bus system. By comparison, only 8% of bus lines received a B grade or higher. Over 70% of Manhattan buses got a D or F, worse than in any other borough. The report the report noted this is due to the borough's dense traffic. Buses here often run as slow as 5 miles per hour. Oh damn. Lander called out failures on the MCA's part, but also noted that the agency as well as the NYC Department of Transportation have pledged to make improvements. Our office's report card offers a clear roadmap to pinpoint the most necessary interventions to improve bus service for all, Lander said. From Brooklyn seniors waiting over 20 minutes for bunch buses to Manhattan commuters crawling at slow 5 miles per hour speeds. The impact of the city and MTA's failures is unmistakable and felt daily for thousands. Did any buses receive an A grade? Yes, but only seven. These include B31, B84, BX29, M60 Select Bus Service, Q35, S89, and SIM 26. Wow. Um, New York City is home to the largest bus network in all of North America, yet pedestrians can walk faster than some buses, like the M34 in Midtown, Lander said. New Yorkers deserve a system that actually gets people. Hold on one moment. Yes, New Yorkers deserve a system that actually gets people where they need to go. Has congestion pricing helped improve bus service? On the bright side, congestion pricing in Manhattan appears to be moving buses along in the toll district south of 61st Street in Midtown. Between January 1st and June 1st, 2025 reliability scores for buses operating in the central business district improved by 9.2% compared to the 5 months preceding implementation, the report said. The report stated, excuse me. Per Lander, the city and state run MTA can set goals that increase speeds by 15% citywide, which would move 90% of C grade bus lines to at least a B. Reducing the bunching rate on high frequency bus routes from 10.6% to 5% will also help. The excuse me. Give me 1 second. All right, the comptroller's data collection ended on June 12th, just weeks before the Queens Bus redesign. The Queens Bus network redesign initiated its first phase of a system-wide overhaul on June 29th. The revised bus system is aimed at improving bus connections and frequency, as well as more balanced stop spacing in Queens. It is likely difficult to grade the new Queens bus system since it has only been in full effect for 1 week. Um, and phase two of the redesign, I'm gonna talk about that in a future episode as well. So I'm gonna save that topic for another time. Nevertheless, MTA officials said it is one of several actions the agency is taking to improve bus service citywide. The MTA agrees with Comptroller Lander that faster buses are essential for riders, which is why we are undertaking all borough bus network redesigns to speed up service with improved routing and stop spacing, expanding automatic camera enforcement, and significantly improving speeds in Manhattan through congestion relief, said Frank Farrell, NYC Transit's acting senior vice president of buses. In quote, the fact remains that dedicated bus lanes are needed to make a material impact on bus speeds citywide. Meanwhile, the DOT said it has completed several projects with more in the works to improve bus service. Hold on. NYC DOT has made bus service faster, more reliable, and more accessible for nearly 700,000 daily bus riders across the city, a DOT spokesperson said. Our bus lane and busway projects help keep New Yorkers moving, along with innovative technologies like transit signal priority and expanding bus lane enforcement in collaboration with the MTA. Some of DOT's bus lanes include 96th Street in Manhattan, Northern Boulevard in Queens, and Livingston Street in Brooklyn. Another bus lane project is in progress on Hillside Avenue in Queens. By law, the city was to have built 150 miles of dedicated bus lanes by 2026, but has fallen behind that goal for years. Across the East River in Manhattan, where nearly three-quarters of buses got a D or F from the comptroller. Borough President Mark Levine said what he thinks will improve service. We know how important reliable bus transit is for our communities and our economy, and we must take steps to speed up service, from fully funding and implementing the streets master plan and improving bus lanes citywide, to implementing all door boarding on all buses. Levine said. NYC commuters can see the grades of each NYC bus line using a search tool on the comptroller's website at comptroller.nyc.gov. Make sure you check that out. Next on the transit, the transit format right here. All right, so the mayor's office announced Wednesday that city officials will study potential changes to redesign Manhattan's 14th Street to make it more walkable, accessible, and green. The Department of Transportation will conduct a 2-year review with support from local business improvement districts in a private-public partnership. The project, which has a $3 million budget, builds on the 14th Street busway, which has restricted cars to reduce traffic since 2019. DOT Commissioner Edonis Rodriguez said that the study aims to bolster the city's success with the 14th Street busway. In quote, the 14th Street busway has already been transformational for New Yorkers, creating a safer, more welcoming street while dramatically speeding up buses and reducing wait times, Rodriguez said. This study will help us unblock the full potential of the entire corridor and create a world class, people first 14th Street. Um, the study is supported by the Union Square Partnership and Meatpacking District Management Association, two powerful bids that encompass parts of 14th Street. The two bids will contribute $1 million together. Many residents initially fierce opposition to the 14th Street busway has largely died down, and elected officials are pushing for a similar redesign of 34th Street. Okay, Jeffrey Lafrancois, executive director of the Meatpacking District Management Association, said in a statement that the potential redesign would support local businesses, citing recent changes to the neighborhood streets. End quote. We know the power and importance of transforming public space with people at the center is always the right decision, given our successful demonstrations at the Ninth Avenue plazas, um, 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 Gantz Vort Landing, and New West 14th Street Promenade, LaFrancois said. Improving public areas is good for the community and drives foot traffic to local businesses. With this study, 14th Street can set a new paradigm for how the city transforms its corridors for the future. According to the mayor's office, the upgrades to 14th Street could include sidewalk expansions, greenery, landscaping, and safety enhancements. The study will also examine improving Union Square Park, which abuts 14th Street. Mayor Eric Adams said that the study reflects his administration's commitment to prioritizing a livable city. We were proud to work with the Union Square and Meatpacking District bids and the City Council to advance a study of 14th Street that will usher in the future of this iconic corridor, Adams said. We continue to think big and imagine what is possible on our streets and in our communities in service of our mission to make New York City a safer, more affordable city that is the best place to raise a family. In December 20 in December 2024, city officials announced a $400 million redesign of Fifth Avenue that followed a similar plan. The plan included widening sidewalks by 46% and reducing traffic lanes from 5 to 3. While many local leaders and businesses praised the plan, some transportation advocates criticized it for reducing bus access and removing a bike lane. The mayor's office touted the 14th Street plan as part of Adams' commitment to alternative transportation, including biking and walking. But his administration has already come under fire for its attempts to remove a protected bike lane along Bedford Avenue in Brooklyn, which Adams said has contributed to crashes and pedestrian injuries. The 14th Street redesign study was part of next year's budget, which also includes $9 million in future capital funds from local city council member Carlina Rivera and $500,000 from Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine as a down payment on the project, the mayor's office said. Levine said the public private partnership can create new opportunities for 14th Street and the many neighborhoods it passes through. With the right vision and investment, Union Square can become among the most vibrant, safe, people friendly public spaces in the entire city. And this investment will help us get that done, Levine said. And in other transit news to talk about here, I want to actually talk about a statis- statistics of the NYC subway has been, yeah, from what the data is talking about. Um, According to Time Out, um, this summer, NYC's subway system felt more like a jump scare than a public service. And it wasn't just in our heads. According to fresh MTA data, June and July delivered a staggering 138 major incidents, defined as delays that held up 50 or more trains, marking the system's worst 2 months since 2018, when the MTA declared a state of emergency over rampant service failures. Infrastructure woes were at the heart of the chaos. In July alone, delays tied to aging electrical and signal systems hit record highs. Upgrades meant to be the cure or fix for most of the most egregious issues are still badly behind, slipping anywhere from 9 months to 3 years past their deadlines. And the MTA's 5 year construction plan was hamstrung early year by a 5 month funding standoff between lawmakers and the governor. To make matters messier, which is worse, MTA Vice President Bill um, Omarosa noted that updated criteria for major incidents introduced in 2023 make the rise in incidents look more dramatic. More disruptions are now logged as major because now more granular incident details factor into pushing events past the 50 train delay threshold. Okay, sure, but the metric has nothing to do with the underground whitewater rafting many riders have embarked upon during the recent storms. Still, MTE spokesperson Joanna Flores claimed that on time performance remained roughly on par with last summer, 1 in 5 weekday trains delayed. Flores added that ongoing repairs and significant investments planned in the excuse me, in the upcoming capital plan should eventually ease the pain points. Hopefully, that happens before fares for unreliable transit climb up to the proposed $3. Um, but the fact remains that this was a very rough summer for anyone trying to get anywhere. Slow, sweaty commutes left workers hot and frustrated, staring at the arrivals clocks in despair or rage. By the time September rolled in with its crisp, crisp air and renewed optimism, too many strap hangers were left with one question: when will taking a subway feel like something you can take for granted again instead of a gamble with your arrival time? That's a good question. And, you know, with everything going on with the flash floods and with everything going on with all these random attacks out of the blue, it's just too much, man. You know what I mean? It's too much. Um, where did I? Hold on a second. All right, one more transit talk to talk about here involving e-bikes. All right, so delivery app companies such as Grubhub and Uber Eats will have to register with the city and assign ID numbers to deliver deliveristas as part of the mayor's plan to tackle reckless moped and e-bike riders in NYC, which is New York City, folks. The rules would be part of Mayor Eric Adams' forthcoming Department of Sustainable Delivery. The set of rules requires the app companies to register with the NYC Department of Transportation, and assign their delivery workers unique ID numbers to wear on their vests, similar to a sports jersey. Adams said he is proposing the rules because the NYC Council has not passed legislation that would hold reckless micro-mobility drivers accountable when hit and run collisions occur. End quote. Our administration is committed to creating safer, more sustainable streets for everyone from delivery workers to pedestrians to cyclists to drivers, the mayor said. These proposed rules are a major step forward in holding delivery app companies accountable and ensuring delivery workers have the equipment, protections, and visibility they need to stay safe. This is a public safety issue and a quality of life issue that affects all of us. And today, um, and today, we are finally taking the steps to address both. Delivery drivers who are often forced to meet aggressive delivery times would be mandated to display their ID numbers on their vests or other reflective garments as they work. App companies would also have to provide safety training to their employees. All right. So far so good. Mets lead the Phillies 1-0 so far. So this is only the first inning. Yeah, this is only the first inning. Now they lead 2-0. All right. All right. The mayor said the rules will be published in the city record, but the time frame for that is unclear right now. Queens City Council member Robert Holden has called for similar rules by sponsoring Priscilla's Law, which is which his colleagues in the council have yet to pass. This is welcome first step toward addressing the e-bike chaos, and I thank the mayor's office for acting when the city council refuses to, Holden said. But much more needs to be done. We also need to pass broader legislation to ensure true accountability and take our streets back. Rabbi Michael Miller, who required surgery for his leg after being struck by a speeding e bike driver on the Upper East Side last year, said he supports the proposed rules. E mobility is now a fact of life in the city, but it has come at a high cost, particularly for vulnerable pedestrians, he said. Tech companies are responsible for a business model that rewards speed, which in turn raises um, perilous risks to delivery workers and public safety. So the mayor is bypassing public input, NYC council rep. Meanwhile, a NYC council spokesperson told AM New York that members have been passing laws this year aimed at ensuring the city has a sustainable delivery sector. In fact, the spokesperson explained similar legislation has been in the process of being finalized recently to empower the Department of Consumer and Worker Protection while protecting against the mass deportation of deliveristas, many of whom are immigrants. End quote. We are reviewing these proposed rules and their legality, but the democratic process required for legislation allows greater public input, which is critical when this proposed collection of workers' data creates vulnerabilities for misuse by an abusive cheese face President 47 administration, the spokesperson said, alluding to cheese face President 47's mission to hand off IRS records to Homeland Security. The mayor is increasingly pursuing ways to bypass public input that can improve our city's policies, which contradicts his first sham charter revision commission and its ballot proposals. Josh Gold, a spokesperson for Uber, said the mayor's proposal singles out the tens of thousands of immigrant workers in the food delivery business at a time of heightened surveillance by Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents. It would require these workers to display visible ID numbers at all times, mandate rosters containing their personal information be made available to the NYPD, and expose them to police scrutiny, even in the absence of any violation. He said, "Everything we do is already tracked." Antonio, a delivery worker. Antonio Solis, a delivery worker and organizing leader with the advocacy group Los Deliveristas Unidos, said he is happy to see proposals that would hold app companies accountable for the safety of the delivery workers. But he also has concerns about how the mayor's ID system would be used and whether it would lead to surveillance and punishment of those workers. Everything we do is already tracked and monitored by the app companies, and the current administration has so far proven that it is more focused on punishing delivery workers than it is on creating the systemic changes we need, he said. I'm not going to get into the systemic stuff, man. Solis added the real systemic change is needed. That requires regulating the app companies that are responsible for creating unsafe working conditions, holding them accountable for aligning the industry and their business model with our city's collective street safety goals, and empowering workers to prioritize their rights to safety without fear of retaliation, he said. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Some other topics to talk about in this episode. So bear with me. Excuse me. All right, so let's see. Oh, three Manhattan and Bronx routes have candid cameras to catch bad guys. Okay, yeah, we could talk about that. All right, so all right, so another transit news to talk about actually. So buses on three more Manhattan and Bronx routes are now equipped with cameras to catch drivers improperly using bus lanes, according to the MTA. And this took place as of July 26th. The M100, the M1 the M42 bus and the M42 bus routes in Manhattan and the BX5 in the Bronx are now outfitted with automated camera enforcement technology. Vehicles that improperly use the bus lanes, block bus stops, or double park on these routes will receive summonses. Fines start at $50 but can be as much as $250 for repeat offenders. Jeez. Jeez. The three the three the three routes are in addition to the 39 routes now enforced. The MTA said more than 1,200 buses are now ACE equipped, covering 5-10 miles of streets within the city. At least in part, the cameras are being used to speed up buses in a city where they move an average of 8 miles per hour. Routes that use ACE have bus speeds increased by 5%, with some corridors seeing travel time jump as high as 30%, according to the MTA. The agency touts fewer collisions and reduction in emissions on ACE routes. The ACE program is administered in partnership with the NYC Department of Transportation and the NYC Department of Finance. Yeah, the NYC Department of Finance. Once automatically captured by cameras on multiple buses, the resulting video images, license plate information, location, and timestamp details are sent to DOT for review by city employees, city employees, and processed thereafter. The MCA explained. Shit. Corridors that use ACE are marked with signs indicating that the MTA, excuse me, that signs indicating that the bus routes use the camera technology. If you'd like to know more information, you can go to mta.info/ACE. All right, now we can go to some topics and stuff, man. So let's get into. All right, let's get into Don Lemon in this next segment right here. Hang on one second. One second. One moment, please. All right, now we can go into chatting all the jazz right here, starting with Don Lemon and the dispute with Elon Musk. All right, here's what's happening with Don Lemon and his situation with Elon Musk's ex. And hold on a minute here. Hold on a minute here. So, according to Deadline, a San Francisco judge ruled that Don Lemon has met the threshold to continue his lawsuit against Elon Musk's um, ex claim, ex on claims, including fraud, misappropriation of name and likeness, and breach of implied contract. The superior judge, Harold Khan, tossed out a series of other claims, including negligent. Hold on a second. Yeah, yeah, negligent misrepresentation, defamation, retaliation, negligence, and harassment. Lemon sued Musk ex Linda Yacar- Yacarino and a top X content executive last year after his partnership on the platform was abruptly ended. Lemon was to host exclusive content on X as he launched his a new show in early 2024, but Musk abruptly canceled the partnership after he did a sometimes contentious sit-down interview with the former CNN host. According to the complaint filed in Superior Court in San Francisco, Musk sent a text to Lemon's agent with the words "contract is canceled." That shit doesn't sound right to him, man. That has to be some bullshit right there. That is some bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah, this really sucks though, man. Um, all right. Lemon's attorney, Carney, she Jer hold on. Shigarian said in a statement, and quote, the ruling means Don can hold X and Musk accountable in court in open court. Musk is subject to the legal process just like everyone else, and that's important. There's no question about Musk's motives and liability, as documented in his own text and on X for millions to see. Let's see. Let's see. An attorney for X did not immediately return for a request for comment. Musk has sought to move the case to federal court in Texas, but that was denied. The judge's ruling is not on the merits, but on whether Lemon adequately made claims that can be argued in court. The judge also ruled that Lemon can pursue claims on promissory, no, hold on, promissory estoppel and unjust enrichment. He also will allow Lemon to correct a claim of breach of express contract, noting that his lawsuit did not specify whether it was oral, written, or implied. According to the lawsuit, Lemon initially met with hold on, Yacarino, Yacarino and Brett White's head of content, talent, and brand sales in 2020, excuse me, in December 2023, where they assured him that he had X's full support, that he would have full authority over his work, and that the platform would not interfere. According to the lawsuit, X represented to Lemon that the deal would be for 1 year if he agreed to provide defendants exclusive rights to specific video content for a 24-hour period before it could be dispersed to other platforms. One piece of long form video content um, that is not breaking news per week, and two, 10 pieces of short film video content per month. In return, Lemon was to receive $1.5 million as well as a number of other incentives, including the option to renew two times at the same terms, 60% of the gross revenue from the programmatic advertising generated by the content, and performance threshold payments based on followers reached, according to the lawsuit. Lemon interviewed Musk on March 8th, but a day later, Musk informed Lemon's agent that the deal was off and that the contract is canceled. Per the lawsuit, White's then told Lemon that they were not going to pay him or follow through with the promises and representations made to him because there was no signed agreement. Despite Musk previously representing to Lemon that there would be no need for a formal written agreement or to fill out paperwork. Lemon, though, claimed that there was an express agreement. The judge ruled that Lemon did not show that there was minimal merit to his defamation claims, writing that some of Musk's comments were either non-actionable opinions or not susceptible to the um, defamatory interpretation. Um, those included a comparison that Musk made of Lemon to Veruca Salt, a character in Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. In denying the harassment claim, the judge ruled that he fails to present any evidence that X invidiously targeted him because of his protected status. Yukaro announced her departure as CEO of X on Wednesday. Whites departed the company in April. Yeah, I don't blame Don Lemon for doing what he has to do. All right. Speaking of not doing what they gotta do, man. Unfortunately, BET got some layoffs on their hands. BET's making layoffs across multiple departments amid the broader wave of cutbacks at parent company Paramount Global. The layoffs were announced by BET CEO Scott Mills in a memo to staff Wednesday, which was obtained by Variety. And quote, as Paramount's co-CEOs recently shared, the company is taking further steps to streamline Paramount to ensure it is positioned for continued success. Mills wrote in the memo, BET is not immune to the conditions necessitating these actions, so we too must reduce staff within our organization. Damn, man. Shit, I'm glad I'm not the fucking only person that's been laid off, man. And it's been, and to be honest, 13 months to a year is pretty rough, man. It's fucking rough, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure a lot of people, including myself, had applied to over 12 job applications and probably got tons of rejections. Honestly, it's just not. It's not fun, man. It's not fucking fun. So, so yeah, this shit is not fun, man. All right. So the number of BET staffers getting pink slip was not immediately available. The job cuts are part of the 3.5% U.S. workforce reduction that Paramount Global announced, which took place on June 10th, which sources said affected several hundreds of employees. According to Mills, BET is implementing a streamlined organization structure. Not sure what that means. Where BET will continue to operate the functions that are core to our mission, value proposition, and market leadership position. Those include content strategy and production, programming, marketing and insights, social impact, advertising sales, streaming, and digital. BET will further leverage Paramount's scaled support functions in areas including linear TV research, finance, and business and legal affairs. He said the job cuts come as Paramount Global, parent of CBS, Paramount Plus, Comedy Central, MTV, Paramount Pictures, and more. Um, waiting for approval from Cheeseface President 47 administrations FCC for its deal to merge with Skydance Media, which I previously talked about that episodes ago. The deal is already done. This is a little recap that I'm doing actually. When Cheeseface President 47 was asked last week by a reporter what was holding up the Paramount Skydance deal, the president launched into a discussion about his $20 billion lawsuit against CBS over a 60-minute segment. I hope that bastard doesn't get a third term, man. He better not get a fucking third term. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so BET Media Group is the world's largest media company dedicated to the black community and championing um, black culture, spanning cable TV, streaming, and digital content, studios, live events, and international, according to Paramount. Its portfolio includes streaming service, BET Plus, BET Gospel, BET Her, BET International, BET Jams, BET Soul, BET Studios, and VH1. Okay. Yeah. Come on. All right, so this is the note to the team. Hang on a second. Okay, so here's what's going on here. All right, so dear team, as Paramount's co CEOs recently shared, the company is taking further steps to streamline Paramount to ensure it is positioned for continued success. BET is not immune to the conditions necessitating these actions, so we too must reduce staff within our organization. Yeah, this is crazy, man. As a result, today we are implementing a streamlined organization structure where BET will continue to operate the functions that are core to our mission, our value proposition, and market leadership position, including content strategy and production, programming, marketing and insights, social impact, advertising, sales, streaming, and digital. At the same time, we will further leverage Paramount's scaled support functions in areas including linear research, finance, and business and legal affairs. This is a very difficult moment. The departure of talented team members who have been great collaborators, colleagues, and friends. Team members who have so meaningfully contributed to BET's success and who share our passion for BET's mission and purpose. On behalf of on behalf of everyone at BET, I thank each of our departing team members for their great work, their sacrifice, and their enduring contributions to BET's legacy. To all my BET colleagues, I thank you for your continued commitment to this company, to each other, and to the communities we serve. We are a powerful and resilient brand, a powerful and resilient business, and most importantly, a powerful and resilient team. I remain confident in our collective strength to continue moving BET forward. Sincerely, Scott. Yeah, you gotta feel for those. You gotta feel for those hardworking people, man. And you know something. Not everybody is built on being entrepreneurs and salesmen and whatnot. Not everybody's built for that. So everyone got different talents and stuff. So that's pretty much what it is. And speaking of talent, um, Drake cancels his Australia and New Zealand tour, which happened a while back actually. So according to Hip Hop DX, Drake has announced that he will not be returning to Australia and New Zealand and has canceled his previous postponed tour in the two countries. Drake played shows in Perth, Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane earlier this year and was set to perform additional concerts in Auckland and return gigs in Brisbane and Sydney before abruptly cutting the tour short and leaving for Canada, citing scheduling issues. Live Nation have now confirmed that Drake has canceled the shows. In a statement, the promoter said Live Nation Australia regrets to inform you that the previously postponed Drake shows in Australia and New Zealand have now been officially canceled. Despite extensive efforts to find a solution, rescheduling within the necessary time frame was not possible. Drake remains committed to returning and performing these shows when his schedule permits. All purchases for the canceled shows will receive a refund. Please check your email for information regarding the refund process. Drake himself has yet to comment on the cancellation as he currently embarks on his first European tour in 6 years, which has also seen postponements happen. He was forced to cancel one of his sold out shows in Manchester, England, that was scheduled to take place on Monday, which was July 28th, making the announcement just a day beforehand. Drake cited an issue with travel as the reason behind the show being moved, which was a surprise to fans, given he had already he already performed twice in the city beforehand. The show is now scheduled, um, actually, which already took place on August 5th, meaning fans won't have to wait long to see the Canadian superstar. In a statement, the venue said, due to unforeseen ferry schedule and travel logistics, tomorrow's performance in Manchester on that took place on July 28th has been rescheduled. They added, the good news is that Drake will now perform in Manchester, which took place on Tuesday, August 5th, and is set to be an unforgettable night. And of course, um, yeah, that's pretty much what that is, though. So let's, all right, in other music stuff to talk about here, Metro Boomin. Let's talk Metro Boomin. All right, so Metro Boomin has announced the majority of the guest artists that will feature on his new mixtape, A Futuristic Summer. The project will be a lengthy 23 tracks, and the super producer has reviewed 21 different guest artists so far. Alongside the social media announcement, Metro wrote, feature list overly stacked and we not even done yet, teasing some surprises for fans. The guest list is Atlanta heavy. Atlanta heavy. Um, and features the likes of Two Chainz, Future, Lil Baby, and Quavo, while the likes of T.I. and Waka Flocka Flame are also set to appear on the album. Metro Boomin recently revealed that it was a lifelong dream of his to make an entrance themes for WWE wrestlers after he was featured prominently during the company's Bad Blood event last year. On X, Metro wrote in quote, "Would love to produce some WWE entrance themes. It's a lifelong goal of mine." WWE have yet to respond to Metro's request, but multiple rappers in the past have contributed theme songs for the company, including Naughty by Nature, 3 6 Mafia, and Lil Kim. Fans have also been anticipating a collaborative project between Metro and JID. In an interview with Complex at the Raleigh North Carolina festival, the Dreamville MC touched on his full-length collaboration with Metro as well as his upcoming solo album, which is tentatively titled Forever and a Day. While he reassured fans that new material is actually happening, Jid did not reveal when either project will be released. When the work is there, you are gonna know exactly what it is. He said, "I promise. When it's presented, you are gonna know what it is. There's not gonna be so much of a mystery around it." A joint album with Metro Boomin has been on the cards since 2023 when the producer posted a picture of the two of them at work in a recording studio. Metro captioned the photo in quote, "Got a lot of new music coming, but when me and Jid drop fire emoji, spiral eye emoji. I love working with you, brother. It's an honor." Jid replied to Metro's tweet, to which he responded, "Honor is mine, family handshake emoji." So there you go. All right, let's see what else we got to talk about here before I forget. Oh, oh, wait a minute. Let's go to okay, let's go to okay. So we're gonna go to our next segment right here. We're gonna go to our next segment right here, which is pertaining to food and beverages. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get into this little thing that I like to call munchies and drinks. This is a segment where I actually, for those of you that are new For those of you that are new and don't know what this segment is about, this is basically talking about recommendations of places to eat as far as like beverages and whatnot, festivals, whatever it may be. So here it is. Munchies and drinks. All right. Let's talk about Poppi for a sec, all right? Now, of course, for those of you who may not know, what Poppi is, this is from a founder this is from a founder, um, and this is the story right here from the Drink Poppi website. Soda has always been a big part of my life, and let's be real, it's a huge part of our culture too. But culture evolves, and I knew soda needed to keep up. I wanted something I could enjoy every day without choosing between loads of sugar or a flavor that fell flat. So I started experimenting in my own kitchen, determined to create something better for myself and my family. What started as a simple kitchen project turned into Poppi, and now I get to share it with you. With you, I'm so glad I never gave up on soda, and I hope you love every sip as much as I do. And of course, this is by Allison Ellsworth, and of course, co-founder and chief brand officer. Once upon a time in Texas, back in 2015, Allison Ellsworth was ready to break up with soda seriously. She didn't love how it made her feel, and the ingredients certainly weren't doing her any favors. Um, but the taste she just couldn't quit. Determined to find a better way, she got to work in her Dallas kitchen, mixing fruit juices with apple cider vinegar, prebiotics, and sparkling water. She created the future of soda. She bottled up her fizzy new creation and took it to a local farmer's market, hoping to change minds and gain some fans. That's when a Whole Foods buyer stopped by, took one sip, and instantly knew a soda star was born. Things really took off when she and her husband Steven got the call from Shark Tank 9 months ago, pregnant. She boarded a plane to LA, and the next thing they knew, they were on camera making a deal with the brand father himself, Rohan Oza. After a bold rebrand and a fresh new name, Poppi was officially born. Now we're stocked in major retailers nationwide and have some pretty cool friends along for the ride. Post Malone, the late great Post Malone, Haley Bieber, Kylie Jenner, Billie Eilish, Russell Westbrook, J Lo, Olivia Munn, and more. With 14 mouth-watering flavors and counting, we're just getting started on our mission to revolutionize soda one can at a time. Now, I want to actually go over the flavors for those of you who may not know. Hold on. All right, so here are the flavors by Poppi. So you have You have root beer. You got punch pop. You have Alpine Blast. You have Doc Pop, orange, strawberry, cherry, orange cream, wild berry, lemon lime, ginger lime, raspberry, grape, cherry lime, lemonade, watermelon, classic cola, crowd pleasers. I'm not sure what that means, what that flavor is like. Fun favorites. Yeah, you got fun favorites, short list, trendsetters. Yeah, so there you go, right there. These are all the flavors. These are all the flavors, man, that you could actually check out at drinkpoppy.com. All right, so there you go, right there. And you can also follow them on social media platforms like TikTok, Threads, and Instagram. All right. All right, let's get into. Ooh, I actually talked about. Hold on a second. Hold on a minute here. Did I talk about this already? Yeah, I talked about this already. Okay, let's see. So let's get into a little something something. Let's see. So this is according to the folks from. All right, let me see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on here. All right, this is the Brooklyn Pizza Stalwart. Hold on a second. Yeah, let's get into it right here. So, from corner slice shops to sit down red sauce joints, New York City is a never ending competition of bubbling cheese and blistered blistered crust. Many New York pizza places deserve accolades, but Food Network has spoken, and the crown for best slice in all of New York State goes to none other than L&B Spumoni Gardens in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. This neighborhood legend has been around since 1939, starting as a humble pushcart before evolving into a three-in-one institution: ice cream parlor, restaurant, and, of course, pizzeria. The star of the show, the world famous Sicilian slice, an upside down masterpiece where cheese goes down first. Sweet tomato sauce lands on top, and everything gets finished with a hefty snowing on Parmesan seals the deal. The result is a thick, springy square with golden brown edges and a flavor that's more layered than your standard New York triangle. It's not your everyday slice, but that's exactly why people line up for it. And beyond that, Stella Sicilian Spumoni Gardens is beloved for just that. The Spumoni squeezable paper cups of creamy, dreamy, tricolor gelato and pistachio, chocolate and vanilla. It's just the thing to cap off that savory pizza feast. Contenders could have easily included Di Fara, the Marco's legendary hand cut basil slices define a generation of pizza lovers, or Joe's Pizza. The Greenwich Village standby that's basically short classic New York slice. Even the no frills old school Johns of Bleecker Street or Prince Street Pizza with its famed pepperoni cups could have made the cut. But when it came down to one slice to rule them all, Spumoni Gardens took it. Curious how New York's neighbors fared. Dominic's over in New Jersey, run by Brooklyn-born Peter and Sal Lombardo, has the Garden State buzzing with spicy Brooklyn-style pies and rare pa pa. Wait, hold on. Palamo squares, Palamo squares. And up in Connecticut, New Haven's legendary pie culture is strong with Da Legna, bringing its New Haven meets Neapolitan Neapolitan style pizza featuring buffalo mozzarella and San Daniel cured meats to the slice crowd. Of course, find the full list of the best slices in the US according to Food Network here. Yeah, you can actually of course still if you want the best slice in New York, the verdict is in. Head to Bensonhurst, grab that upside down Sicilian square and taste why Spumoni Gardens has been the city's not so secret treasure for over 80 years. Now, hold on a second here, man. This is pretty cool and interesting. Let's see. And this is from this is a lot, man. Of course, you can actually follow Food Network on social media as as well as YouTube. Of course, they on Facebook. You can follow on X. You can follow on Pinterest, um, Snapchat. Of course, you can follow the Food Network on YouTube as well. So therefore, you can actually get all the answers you need in terms of the eateries of pizzas to munch on. All right, so let's get into some video game news, shall we? Let's take a look here. All right, Mets leading 4-2. All right. Yeah, in case anybody's wondering, I am watching the New York Mets play against the Phillies. This is their last game in Philadelphia right now. Before they go home for some games in City Fields, which I can't wait to watch actually. So, for those of you who may not know, it's on Fox 5 right now. And of course, check your local listings if you are in New Jersey, Connecticut, or any other states whatsoever. All right, so here we go. Let's get into. Oh, wait. I forgot about this though. I forgot about this. I forgot something. So this is. Let me see. Do I have that on that list? Hold on. Do I have that on that list? Let me see. Let me see. No. You know what? You know what though? Before I go to video game news, I want to do a rundown on some podcast free game mechanisms. Actually, some podcasts that you can listen to for the week. Let's get into this right here. All right, so where is it? All right, podcast juice of the week, man. Let's get into it. Hang on, hang on, one second. Oh nah, podcast free game mechanisms. I'm sorry. I got that mixed up. So yeah, so I meant to put podcast free game mechanisms actually. I haven't done that in a while, so I'm actually going to talk about that. Yeah, I'll just talk about it right here, man. You know what I mean? Um, okay. All right, podcast free game mechanisms. Let's do this. All right, for those of you out there at home or anywhere else who want to start a podcast, I'm here to give you some tips on the types of things that you need to start a podcast. Like you have, let's start off with headphones. You need headphones. That's very important to sound quality. You also need a laptop. Any laptop model that you use will work. All right. You also need a microphone alongside with you can get yourself a ring light. You can get yourself a ring light. You can also get yourself a extension cord for your USB plugs actually, excuse me. Yes, it's a USB extension cord actually. So I'm gonna actually say this. Hold on. So the extension cord for USBs that I have connected to my laptop alongside with my microphone and of course my two ring lights that I'm using right now. It is called ports. You can look it up online on Amazon actually, because that's where I actually got it. So yeah, that's where I actually got it though. And yeah, and some other tips that I want to give out to in terms of people who want to start a podcast and stuff. It's never too late to start a podcast. All right, no matter what age you are, and of course, there's no right or wrong way into starting a podcast, and there's no right or wrong time to actually start a podcast. All right, do not overthink. Do not overthink. And another thing, man, you have to ask yourself this question: for Are you doing this for the money and moments, or are you doing this for the love, the creativity, and fun? You feel what I'm saying? And also I would like to add, if you are using YouTube, right, or Twitch or any other stream supporting softwares or platforms whatsoever, like a Kick, like Twitch, um some people are using X on StreamYard. StreamYard is the software that I use for my podcast recording live streams of new episodes, right? So I recommend y'all to actually get into StreamYard. If you want to actually get in on the action on leveling up, you can do that. You can do that. All you need to do is create an account. You can use your email address or your podcast email address. And of course, you can check out www.streamyard.com. It's going to have some features on whether it's going to have some features in terms of new features and stuff, man, that you can take a look at. I'm not going to be able to name it all. I will do a topic in regards to the features that it has in a future episode. So there you go right there, www.streamyard.com. All right, so another tip that I'd like to say for starting a podcast is to be yourself behind the microphone if you are covering certain topics or whatever. You know what I mean? Start a podcast because it makes you happy. Whether you are covering mental health, whether you're covering scary situations, whether it's domestic violence, whether it's like true crime, whether it's basically music, entertainment, whether you're covering movies, TV news, comedy, which is what I do actually. And I just enjoy podcasting, man, as a hobby. And it's gonna be, I don't know, man. I don't know because it's gonna take time to actually build the subscribers that you need. And for me, it's been taking me a long time to actually build up the subscribers that I need and stuff. So if you are following me on social media platforms, I want y'all to subscribe to the channel that I'm on right now, which is G Money Stacks 555 for more video podcast episodes whatsoever. And of course, you're more than welcome to comment on the topics. So there you go right there. And if you got any questions or whatever in regards to the topics, the episodes, including this one right here, I welcome it. All right. And let me add another tip as far as starting a podcast. Actually, I have LED lights in my room actually to actually do my podcast and stuff. Actually, my podcast recordings. Basically, it's just for lighting purposes. All right. I decided to actually make it look like I'm in a party. You know what I mean? I wanted to make it feel like you are at a party, so you can actually enjoy yourself. You can actually relax. You can actually, relax and stuff. Listen to the episode or in your cars, coming from work, going to work, whether you are going to work, classes, or returning from work in other destinations that you're coming from. So yeah. That way you'll be you'll be able to enjoy yourself, whether you are having a day off or anything like that, to relieve yourself from stressful situations, whether it's from work, whether it's somebody giving you a hard time, whatever it may be. Though, man, just know that you're not alone out there. All right. I want you to know that this podcast right here is for everybody to listen to, different ages. So it's like for adults. All right. Adults. So there you go right there. That was your podcast free game mechanisms. And there will be a time I will end up doing podcast juice of the week. I will bring that back in the future. So there you go, right there. Now we can go on to um now we can go on to video game entertainment newsroom. All right. This is for the gamers out there, and I want to actually dedicate this to the video gamers out there. So there you go. Here we go. All right. Amazon Prime is getting into the gaming action actually. So of course, free games for September, which include Civilization 4. All right. So this month's games include Sid um, Meier's Civilization 4, the complete edition, and Fate the Cursed King. Prime Gaming, which is which is included as part of an Amazon Prime subscription, lets members claim a selection of PC games every month to claim and keep, while other services such as PlayStation Plus and Xbox Game Pass only give the player access to each game for as long as they remain subscribed. Prime Gaming's games are instead codes, which are redeemed on other stories. This means players will continue to have access to Prime Gaming Prime Gaming titles even if they cancel their Amazon Prime subscription. All right, so you got Dungeons and Dragons, Ravenloft, Into the Breach, or GOG, Epic Game Store, Sid Meier's Civilization 4, the complete edition GOG. Today, September 11th, at the Image, Amazon Games app, Spelljammer, Pirates of Realm Space, GOG, Subterranean Mines of Titan, Amazon Games app, Tower of Time, GOG. And you got September, let me see. Yeah, you got September, hang on. You got September 18th, Fate the Cursed King, GOG, and Residual also on GOG. So, yeah, there you go. And September 25th, you got Mystical Riddles, Ghostly Park Collector's Edition, Legacy Games, Pixel Cafe, Amazon Games app. While these games are available to claim and keep, Amazon Prime members can also play a rotating selection of games on Luna, Amazon's cloud gaming service. Current titles include Control Ultimate Edition, Jackbox Party, Pac 10, Rover City Girls, The Mummy Demastered, and MotoGP 24. At the time of writing, players can still claim some of August's free Prime Gaming titles, including Civilization 3, Complete, Thief, Definitive, Edition and Marvel's Midnight Suns. So yeah, there you go right there. And let's see. In other gaming news, in other gaming news, let me see. In other gaming news, let me just Hollow Knight. We got Hollow Knight. Shortly, this is from Video Games Chronicle. Shortly after Silk Song, the most wish-listed title on Steam, went live, users reported being unable to access its game page on Steam or purchase the title on Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo Switch. Players had more luck purchasing the game remotely via PlayStation and Xbox websites or apps and accessing it that way, but otherwise, it was one final frustrating wait for players who've long waited Silk Song's release. On Nintendo Switch systems, Nintendo was even forced to take the eShop store offline for maintenance. At the time of publishing, Switch and Switch 2 stores remain offline. Silk Song has been the subject of significant fan anticipation since its announcement 6 years ago, with virtually every major game show prompting speculation that it could finally appear. Since it was announced in 2019, very little had been seen of Silk Song until its surprise appearance at Gamescom in Germany, where it was finally confirmed for release just 2 weeks later. The original Hollow Knight has sold over 15 million copies since its release 8 years ago, making it the best-selling Metroidvania game in the genre's history. Its sequel has been described as a GTA 6 for indies, with many indie developers recently moving their game releases to avoid it. Hollow Knight Silk Song is available on consoles and PC for just $19.99 in the US. If you subscribe to if you subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, the Xbox console and PC versions of the game will be available from day one as part of your subscription. And of course, last but not least, PS5 digital edition consoles are reportedly getting a quiet storage downgrade. Of course, starting this month, the digital edition of the PS5, which doesn't include a disk drive, will come with 825 gigabytes of SSD storage, down from the 1 TB, which is I think is terabytes, included with current PS5 consoles, according to the ever reliable Bill Kun. The revised 825 gigabytes PS5 digital edition will reportedly go on sale in Europe starting on September 13th, which is a Saturday. Crucially, it will cost the same price as the current 1 terabyte digital edition console in Europe for €499. According to Bill Kun, the standard edition PlayStation 5 console will retain its 1 terabyte of SSD, double SD storage for the time being. It's like that the storage reduction is a means of avoiding further price increases for PlayStation 5 in the current challenging trading climate. In Europe, the digital edition console has seen its price increase twice, most recently earlier this year. The PS5 edition, the PS5 digital edition currently costs €100 more than it did at launch 5 years ago. Sony also increased the price of PS5 consoles in the US recently. However, there's no there's yet no suggestion that the console will receive a storage reduction outside of Europe, according to Bill Kunn. The PlayStation 5 is the latest piece of consumer tech to be impacted by global economic issues. Sony previously increased the price of PS5 in select regions in August 2022, with both the digital and standard editions getting hikes in the UK, Europe, Australia, Japan, China, Mexico, and Canada, but not the United States. Then in 2025, it again raised prices in multiple regions. Last month, Nintendo raised the price of its original Nintendo Switch hardware, with the standard units increasing in cost by $40 and the OLED model by $50 and the Switch Lite by $30. Nintendo has been assessing market conditions for some time now, most notably with regard to U.S. cheese face President 47's ongoing trade tariff decisions. Man, man, he's ruining people's lives right now, man. That shit is not funny. He's ruining people's lives. That is not funny. That is not funny, and that is not fair at all. All right. So yeah, there you go, right there, folks. All right, I'm thinking about wrapping this show up right now. Yeah, let's wrap up right here. Hold on a second. All right. All right. Let's wrap up right here, man. All right, we're gonna wrap up right here with this. Stream choices on the go. Let's do this. Let's go. All right, all right, you folks at home. You know what to do. Make sure you follow Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook, Blue Sky Social, alongside with Threads and Instagram. And the same goes with my other podcast shows that's also on the same platforms that I just mentioned, which includes the Sports Edition show, Excellent, Fun, Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with my entertainment review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast. Alongside alongside with myself, you can also follow on Threads and Instagram, which is the same username, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. All right. I want to actually go through a rundown on where you can listen to the episodes and stuff. And you can actually go to the link in bio where it says linktree/G Money Stacks 555 from which includes the podcast link feeds, which includes Odyssey, Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. All right, on your iPhones, Android phones, iPads, Android tablets, alongside with laptops, which includes Apple Mac laptops, alongside with Dell laptop models. Any model of a laptop that you use will work. All right, so you can catch the comedy podcast show on Castbox FM. Castbox FM, these are Listen Notes, Moon FM podcast, Overhaul FM podcast, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podopolo, Polo, Panorama podcast, Index podcast, Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic, Snip, and of course, make sure you also add the podcast to your Spotify playlist. Make sure you stream and listen to the episodes and press the notification bell for new episodes being released. All right, and also you can listen on Spotify for creators. You can also comment on there as well. TuneIn Radio. You can also listen on TuneIn Radio alongside with Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the number one app where you can listen to your favorite music artists, which includes rappers, singers in R&B, and other singers in other music genres. Hip hop artists are included as well. You can also listen to radio stations on the FM side and the AM side, and you can also listen to the podcast episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is follow Off the Meat Rack Chainz New York Avenue podcast on iHeartRadio alongside with other streaming platforms that I just mentioned right there. And also another reminder is to make sure you subscribe to the channel G Money Stacks 555 for more live video podcast episode live streams. Leave a like and a comment if you have any questions or your reactions to the topics that's being talked about in today's episode or previous episodes in case you missed it. Don't worry, it's going to be uploaded to the YouTube channel page. And of course, share the podcast link with the podcast link feeds with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you're cool with from work, and anywhere else where you meet new people. And of course, like I said before, add the podcast to your Spotify playlist. Whether you are on the road to classes, work, or any other destinations whatsoever. If you're going and coming from those destinations, all right. And also enable alerts so you'll be notified when I'll be on the air live and coming out with new topics and of course new episodes to create content and of course let me add that new episodes will be dropping on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. All right. I do apologize for delaying the episode yesterday. I was basically a little discombobulated from all that cable talk with my mother and all that other stuff. So I do apologize for the delay. Anyway, so let me just say, yes, so it's on streaming platforms on a weekly basis, not bi-weekly, but a weekly basis. All right. So there you go right there. All right, that's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. I'd like to say thank you to every single one of you out there who chose to listen to the episodes and of course including the topics that's being discussed whatsoever. You could have listened to any other podcast in the whole world, but you chose to listen to this comedy podcast right here. Um, for relief from a long day of work and relieve you from stress and anywhere else whatsoever. And also remember the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, it's not going to be given to you overnight on a fucking silver platter. And of course, like I always say, make sure you follow your goals and dreams and in terms of talent, whatever whatever career you're trying to do, whatsoever, and also be sure to be on your P's and Q's if you are creating a podcast content or whatever. I'm already helping out somebody in terms of some tips, in terms of my niece who's in school right now. So I tend to help people in case they want to actually start a podcast in terms of like some tips of the types of equipment that they need. And I forgot to mention, you don't need a lot of money to go to a recording studio to record your podcast episodes because some of them some of the fucking majority recording studios are so expensive. All right. All you need is a trusty laptop, a trusty microphone, headphones, and other equipment, whatever you need for lighting purposes, um, will actually be able to work in your favor. All right. And yes, so most importantly, be yourself behind the microphone. Be sure to be on your P's and Q's creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. Also remember this though. This is a Podcasting is a marathon, not a fucking sprint, okay? Remember that. And don't let anybody ruin your confidence in terms of your on-air skills. All right. You can also practice on being energetic behind the microphone. And of course, you can even practice recording yourself on a recording app on your laptop. That way you'll be able to, you know, be able to get better. Practice make perfect. So so yeah. So yeah, there you have it right there. There you have it right there. I'm about to be out of here. I'm about to see how my New York Mets team is doing right now. Right now they're leading 4-2. I hope they don't blow this last game. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch this game. I'm probably not gonna get a chance to record my other podcast. Most likely I'll try to record that tomorrow. Um, I'll try to record 148 tomorrow of my other podcast show that I'm doing, which is Meticulous Values Podcast. So I'll do my best to actually get that out the way. So that way you'll be able to get your content on streaming platforms. So I do apologize for basically, you know, you know, deleting the episode because I had messed up when I had the recording on mute in the beginning. So I'm redoing this so that way you'll be able to get a clear hearing of myself. So that way there's no audio issues. So there you have it right there. I'm out of here. I'm about to check out the Mets game and all that other stuff. Um, and of course, for those of you who may not know, fall starts on the 22nd of this month. Make sure you have your warm clothes ready. your sweaters, your hoodies, your gloves, your scarves, your jogging sweatpants, windbreakers, whatever you have, including jeans, your winter hats, all that great stuff that's on deck, man. Make sure you have those waiting on deck. All right. So be safe. And also take care of yourselves. I'll see y'all next time on the flip side with more new topics and more new episodes. And of course, if you're anything like me and you are a Mets fan, of course, obviously I'm about to get up out of here. Peace and one love. Let's go, Mets. Good night, everybody.